Is it can you argue where they are? Yeah. Can you argue they should be higher on the list? Yeah, I'm sure you can. But if you're going to argue that, who are you taking out?
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just parking out. His street, what to talk about. See the big H when I'm walking out.
All right, let's talk about top 50 players. So I love the team that does it. So the ELF network pairs off with ELF Checkdown, which is now pairing up with First Down Magazine to do the top 50 players of 2023 in the ELF. All right, a lot of these rankings are based on games, injuries, stats. A lot of situations. First of all, let me say this: it is hard doing a list, right? It is hard doing a list. Everyone has their own opinion, right? But I respect the guys that do it. They do a good job doing it. All right. I always look forward to it. All right. And like I mentioned, they're hard to do. Now let's react. All right. Let's react. All right. So we're going to go 50 to 41. So we got JP Bombeck, Kyle Sweet, all right, Jabari Regan, Baran Gruby, Alex Spillum, Lewis Geyer, Harlan Quofi, right? We got Wingard from the Fire, Maurice Kenty, and Florian Bierbaumer. Here are my thoughts. All right. Kyle Sweet, big drop off, obviously, from last year, from 3 going all the way down to 49. Right. He was Kyle Sweet was a player that for Paris, it took a while to get that whole team going. Right. They didn't gel right from the beginning, like they did in Barcelona a year or two. But he did finish strong. And I do think he deserves to be here. He had a big drop. But I think based on how he played, it might have fit, where he was. I think he was placed correctly. All right. Jabari Regan was a bright spot for that Anthrona's defense, right? And if he played for a different team, he probably is higher up in the list here. But because of the Anthronas and the team that they had and the results they had this year, unfortunately, that helped put him to where he is now. But it'll be interesting to see not only what the Enthroners do this offseason, how they get better, but how he also performs next year in the ELF. Good for the Enthroners. All right, Berard, and hopefully I'm saying his name right. I'm probably not. I apologize if I'm not. But you see what happens when you give new people opportunity. Hamburg was a young team. You lose Edibale, he retires. You lose Tim Haney, he goes back home to Helvetic Guard. So that opens up more opportunity. And shout out to my guy, Berard, for getting his opportunity, but taking advantage of the opportunity. And obviously, he earned a spot on the top 50 coming in at 47. So shout out to my guy there. Maurice Kenty, this year, his talent really flourished. You didn't really see a lot of it, with the Centurions. Obviously, defense were a huge struggle the first 2 years before they improved in year 3. But he goes to the Fire. He's used as their Mike linebacker. He really flourished, and he really had a great end to the season. And obviously, he's a champion, so kudos to him. So shout out to Maurice Kenty for making the list. All right. Let's get to 45 and 44. All right. Lewis Geyer, Harlan Quofi. Let's get out of seeing what we just saw from these guys, because obviously, they were in the championship, they made the playoffs, they played the longest, they had great impacts, right? Don't be a prisoner of the moment. These guys have had great seasons. And can you argue where they are? Yeah. Can you argue they should be higher on the list? Yeah, I'm sure you can. But if you're going to argue that, who are you taking out? All right? Who are you taking out? Because these guys, this is what happens when you have a strong wide receiver group, right? And the fact that these guys are placed where they are just proves how strong that receiver group is. So once ELF Network is done with the list and you look back on it, I want you to tell me, who would you move these guys with? Because obviously you see it and you're like, what? How's this happening? Like, why are they there? Like, people are going to want to argue. And again, you have to wait and see what the list plays out to be. But I think this is a result of how strong the wide receiver class was this year for them to come in where they were. All right. My biggest issue with the first 10, or the first whatever, Florian Beerbaum coming in at 41, I have the most problems with. But I understand it. It's not a strong tight end class. Not as strong. You got Boteo Moreno, you got Nikolaj Schulman, you got Mwamba for the Galaxy, and then you got Florian Beerbaum, who are probably the top guys at the tight end position. So it's not a strong tight end class. But Florian Beerbaum was the best tight end in the league last year. He, in my opinion, he was the best tight end in the league. So to come in at 41, I get it, but I'm like, if there's another tight end above him, we're gonna have to talk about this, right? Coming off a year where he missed, right? He missed all last season, didn't really play much, and came onto the team and dominated this year. Dominated, mossing people, almost unguardable, matchup nightmare. No matter who you put on him, corner, linebacker, safety, import, whoever. Florian Beerbaum balled. So to come in at 41, I had a little issue with that. But again, I get it. But now I have to see how this plays out. Because now, if you're telling me he's the second or third best tight end in the league, then I have an issue. Then I have to call up ELF Network and ELF Checkdown, and we're going to have a conference call about this. All right? We're going to have the conference call about this. I think Florida should have been a little higher, but we'll see. But that's my reaction to the first wave that was announced. Looking forward to the next one. I know a couple guys have already been announced, but I'll wait until the next 10 are fully announced before diving into it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and let's talk. Let's talk ELF ball, because I respond to everyone, and I love having these conversations, all right? Thank you guys for tuning in.
Nobody.